What's up, everyone? Welcome back to A Line in the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we are back today with stages 17 and 18 of the USS Enterprise. Last week, we went ahead and we almost completed the top part of the saucer section, which we are going to be doing today, which I think marks the first major milestone in this build, which kind of is amusing to me that it wound up coinciding with the first major milestone earlier this week with the Millennium Falcon. I'm really pleased about that. I think that life has symmetry, and part of this channel is to try to blend Star Trek and Star Wars together in some way, shape, form, or another. And I feel like I'm kind of doing it a little bit in this way. And with that being said, having a milestone here and a milestone there while building this channel as we get towards 100 subscribers, which I'm super thankful for. I think it's just all just perfectly fitting. So let's just go ahead and unpackage stages 17 and 18. Get our trusty scissors out here. These packages have been big, and especially this month. Oh, and that just slid right down. We have our final frame section for the top part of the saucer. Set that off to the side. And what might just be the smallest frame section that we've had so far. If I can get this out. There we go. So yeah, this is a really tiny little piece. Like, wow, it's kind of crazy. Okay, so we'll set that off to the side. We have our bigger piece, so familiar with this size, although it's a little bit smaller. It ties together the last two frames. Both of these tie together the entire saucer, so which is pretty cool. Now, the thing that I'm excited for, although it doesn't really do too much in this, we have Deck 8's, so we have Deck 8 right here, and as you can see, we got the very slight Aztecing. We're starting to get back into some hull section stuff, which is super cool. And then we have our screws. Just fell right out. And then the super cool thing is, and after I pull my card, get this trash set off to the side, we have the battle bridge. Now that's super cool. I'm really excited about that being there. Having both bridges now is also a bit of a milestone. So yeah, we're going to be putting together this little piece here and then moving on. And we're actually just going to be setting it off to the side. All right, so now unpackaging stage 18, and this one I'm super excited about. We get to do a little bit of work with building a hull plate section with adding some lights and some windows and all of that jazz, but it's going to be seeing this piece here. I'm just super excited about that. So let's go ahead and do this one here. Oh, look at this bad boy. Oh, it's even encased in plastic here. Yeah, I'm going to leave it in there for right. Well, no. Jordan, don't lie to yourself. You know you're not going to. Let's go ahead and get our lights out, our screws. Now, those are DM screws. Our windows, and then our card. Get all this trash off the desk. I've just got this gigantic pile of crap over there. So now, let's go ahead and separate this out. Pull that off. Oh, wow. Look at the detail on that. And this is heavy. This is die cast for sure. Phaser strip is super solid. But look at that. Look at the detail. That's just impressive. Put it in the right direction here. Super impressive. I love. It's actually etched, so there's a slight. You can hear it. As you're going along, a little bit of ASMR if you can kind of get that one. But here are the connection points, and I'm curious if that's going to be part of what we're going to be getting next, and why we're not going to be connecting it to the top of that frame piece. So yeah, this is super cool. I am really pleased that this is here. We're not doing anything with this, so we're going to go ahead and put this back in here. I'm going to keep most of this packaging along with the packaging for the other one, but we are going to be taking the lights out. So we have our LEDs, and then we have our whole plate section, which once again, super satisfying that it is die cast. We've been dealing with some plastic things, but not too many. And yeah, you just see the slight Aztecing on there, the light blue and the light gray stripes, like stripes right up here. And the cool thing is you're going to have part of the C, and then the C, and then the dash, and then the 1-7, then part of the 1 right here for the 1701D across the top of the saucer. And then, which is super cool, USS Enterprise. So yeah, this is like one of the main pieces to the model. So we have that here. We're going to be building on that today. And then we have our reflector pieces. I'm going to pop those out. And then, as much as it pains me to do so, I am going to just keep this nice and tucked away and leave it until we're ready to actually play with it later on in the month, I guess. Now, let's go ahead and separate out our frame section here. And that's where, you know, we're just going to start there. Like, I want to work on building the lights later on, so to say. So let's go ahead, move my trash can, and it is absolutely ruining my life, I have to say, right now. All right, so let's go ahead and start by putting together the remaining piece of the superstructure. So we're going to grab this, pull it off. Going to grab this big boy, get her back in center screen, and we're going to go ahead and put our final piece on. And there's something I think is going to be super satisfying about this moment to me. Yeah, super satisfying, as crazy as it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get my screws out, and the DM screws are going to stay out until we're ready for them. I'm going to take our BM screws, which is our screws to the frame sections. And what we're going to do is we're going to start over here by connecting up the final piece to the rest of the saucer. So we kind of pull those out of the way. Get our screw in place. Start with 1. Yeah, this is super satisfying, just getting to this point in the model. It's getting serious. You know, the nostalgia of it has kind of worn off a little bit. I look forward to it for the build and enjoying putting together these videos and such, but the nostalgia has worn off, and it has now just become really satisfying when things are getting put together and you start to see like this, where this is the saucer, like this is the top of the saucer, this is where things happen, you know, and there's just something really cool about it. I'm super satisfied and happy that we are here. Kind of like the cockpit of the Falcon, you know, getting that and seeing that come together and finally being done with that jankiness and moving on to probably something other than just gonna be janky. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. But there we have the final piece to connect her up to our other side. So now it's going to be right here at the base. Right here is where the big one's going to go that we got. It's the big connector piece. So what I'm going to do is kind of get it into place. And kind of, I think I should start with, let's start with the side we just built. So let us get it into place right there. Now, drop our screw in a little bit deeper of a screw hole connection, so I wasn't able to see if we were lined up, but I think we are. Didn't exactly click into place either. We're just fine. It's right in, no problems. now let's get on to the other side. Wonder if I got that one lined up. I do not. I do not. We'll start with the other one here. Wonder if it just needs to be pushed down. It is slightly up from the other. There it is. Just clicked right into place. Yeah, I was sitting on top. There we go. Oh, it just like cinched and pinched my finger. Like that was, yep, you were right into place. Oh, and you have one more connecting piece for the top, and the saucer is complete for the top portion of it, which is super cool. This is also pretty heavy, by the way, gotta say. And then this piece here is going to go along these four, and I'm going to have to start with holding it up from underneath. That one just kind of clicked right into place. Very nice. But then, I love the screwdriver, but when it grabs it in the wrong spot, it's just the worst thing in the world. Clicked. Come on, there we go. Why is it not liking that outside one first? So, that one hit the deck. Don't worry, we have plenty. Try a new screw. See if that just does the trick. Which sometimes, weirdly, it does. And then I dropped it. Try doing that. There we go. Whatever reason. Yeah, at this point I'm starting to accumulate an impressive amount of screws, for sure. Okay. And we're going to get into that one there. What am I going to do with all of them at the end? Oh my goodness. I mean, I have screws. I mean, I've got a pretty nice collection of all the screws from the various things that we build over the years, but yeah, I'm curious, like, what am I gonna do? Just look at them, have a part as part of, like, build? The screw's not happy. Careful, 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 Jordan. Careful. Yeah, that one's not happy. It is a little offset, and I'm sad about it because there's not much I can do about it now. These are self-tapping screws. So maybe if I can get the other side put in correctly. There we go. Nah, just firmed it right up. Immediate rigidity in the superstructure. Science, baby. Love it. Like immediately I felt it, everything stopped flexing and moving as soon as that was screwed in. I'm going to be careful not to strip the head. Yeah, these are not happy right here, but they're just fine. Sealed up just fine. All right, and with that, our saucer section is complete. Super cool. And that is actually stage 17. All done. Actually, that is incorrect. What we're going to do, we're going to build the... well, hold on. We're going to do one more thing here. But there are 3 little tabs right here, here, and here that line up with those 3 holes. There, there. Going to get that lined up. Maybe. was like, oh, that's a super easy part. Yeah, Jordan. Super easy part. Look how good you're doing here. Bruh. Sorry. I'm like looking at it from a certain angle and it's just not. There it goes. So, yeah, that actually looks really good and super cool piece. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring something back. Move our saucer out of the way. Oh, all right, real quick. This is what the bottom of it looks like with all of the different frame connector pieces. I'm assuming that when we're building the bottom of the saucer, it's going to be connecting up to these points as well. So with all of the, probably the electronics probably sitting right in here. I'm assuming so. I'm trying not to make too many suppositions these days. And before I do put this away for the month, once again, I'm going to go back and retighten everything, making sure all my screws are nice and tight and they're fixed into place. But that is what our saucer section looks like, and I am super pleased. Specifically back here at the back, for whatever reason, it just looks different from everything else. And so we're going to be probably putting quite a few pieces on this because we have the bridge plate, we have the two plates that we built before, the one we're building now. Yeah, and then we obviously have the neck. So lots of cool things happening right here. So we're going to move that off to the side for the month. And then, as I alluded to in the unboxing video, I saw these two and I'm like, oh, these are all magnets and that's how they're all going to connect up. Who knows, that might actually be how it's done. But there are two magnets here. And for whatever reason right now, I'm sure I can take this off. But, oh. Oh, you know, I bet when the saucer is connected, you have to remove this. That's why that's on there, because that looks like a connection point. Ah, see? Yeah. I know what's up, but in the short term, oh my goodness, that looks so good. Just look at that. Look at that. Look at it, Jerry. Look at the baby. I'm such an idiot. There you go. Yeah, it's beautiful. So now, I was like, oh, I'm just going to set that in there and put it off to the side. No, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to stare at that all month long. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to stage 18. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with stage 18, and I've done my prep work in order to keep these videos moving along properly. I'm sure you guys don't want to see me pulling all of the little windows off of the sprues. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and start. As we have before, the process of this is pretty simple, but you guys only saw me do this on a very small section. When I had recorded this previous thing, I was dealing with storage issues and all of that, and so it wound up just being done in picture form, just kind of showing like what I had done. And obviously, like when we'd done the back of the battle section of the neck, we did some smaller light work, but these are the more standard size lights, and so here's what they look like. And so we have the clear one, and then the darkened one. And I have gone through, and where I can, I've sanded off a little bit of the burrs from clipping it from the sprues. But using the professional quality nippers that we have, it really helps with getting nice clean cuts, and so you don't have to do too much of that. But I have taken the time this time around to properly clean my pieces up so that we're ready to roll. So once again, I'm going to follow the diagram as where I can, but I am going to try to follow the exact same light scheme of the Enterprise. And so let's just go ahead and get started. And we're going to use our tweezers, and we're going to go to light, and then we're going to go too light at the very end, and then the rest in this row are going to be dark. And I say I got that. I thought I missed one. There may have been another one or two here. A trusty little file. Just want to make sure that my pieces are clean. What I found with putting these windows in, if you don't have nice clean edges, it could wind up like causing problems with affixing the reflector plates, and we don't want that. So let's use our tweezers. And the rest of this row is going to be all dark windows. So I did a little bit of practice as well on like learning how to grab these and how to, as I describe what I'm saying. I have done some practice to make sure that I'm quicker at doing this process, because this is going to be a big part of the build. Like building these whole panel sections for the next while is going to be what we're doing, and I wanted to become proficient at it so that it's not just like we're watching old Jordan here just chunk through it. And in order to do that, I need to take my time. I took about 5-6 minutes of separating these, making sure that I had everything ready to go, and sanding off my ends. And so yeah, and everything actually just went in on that row super quick and easy. I'm really pleased with how that just went. So let's go ahead and get on to, so point of reference, this is deck 3 and this is going to be deck 4. So let's go ahead and start on deck 4. And you can kind of imply that the spacing between, like, say for instance on Star Trek Lower Decks, on the Cerritos is actually a fairly large ship, and how they're able to measure that is by the size of these windows. Starfleet has standard regulation size windows, and so at the end of each deck, I'm sure it goes shorter and shorter and shorter, but roughly the floor of deck 3 is here, and the ceiling is right here of deck 4, right? So yeah, it's kind of interesting, like the way the ship is built and laid out. So you see 10 strips of lights going down the saucer section, and sorry, got totally off topic there. But yeah, so and then it's 10 decks right on the top, and then you have, I believe it's deck 10, and then deck 8, which we just built, is slightly in set up. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Anyway, I digress, as I tend to do, and we'll talk more about that as we go along. And as you saw in between, I've introduced a new little section where about the new last episode, but did you know, like, kind of like, hey, do you know this about the Enterprise? The magazines that come with this build have a lot of cool information, so there's going to be like did you know sections in all these builds going forward. I'm really excited about that. Same with the Falcon. I think it's really cool to give you like a little bit of the inside knowledge that we get by doing these models. So all right, and we have, interesting, they didn't give us any spares. I mean, they probably know that we have extras, and that's a bold assumption there, actually. If I'm being real, like, I have lost one, so, well, one of the smaller ones. And did I lose it? No, I found it. I am incorrect. I did find it. Yep, I did find it. All right, so I got the last window panel going in, and that went pretty quick. I spent more time talking on the second row, which is something that I need to watch out for. And I got a little bit, see, when I'm saying that there's a bit of an issue, and the reason I want to try to control those burrs is because of this, specifically right here. It's not setting in properly. And so what I'm going to do, yeah, I thought it was better. I got most of those. I'm going to grab that window out, grab my little file, and file off the end there. I just want them to set in there properly. I have read, and I have a couple of commenters that have said, hey, watch out for light bleed on this. And I've looked into, light blocking strips, and Gorilla Tape works great for that. So that's what we use for that, and it's cut tape. Anyway, so, But in order to combat that, excuse me, we're going to use, we're going to make sure we clean up our ends so that these are seated in here properly. Okay, so we're going to stop doing that. We're going to push them down. So now what we're going to do, just make sure that as I've done for the last couple model series, there's no more magazine on the table, so I just need to go ahead and switch over to my next image. All right, so in this one, I've noticed that they kind of changed the way that the LEDs are handled. And so what they're having us do is they're going to have us take these sections, take our screws and affix the outside ones, and then do the outside ones, inside then outside. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, but that's just not how that's going to go. So I don't think it really matters which color goes where. So we're going to take have some tape ready to go for this one. And I've learned my lessons from the previous few builds where I am not going to separate out these wires any more than I absolutely have to. It is going to be an absolute nightmare getting the pieces that I do have already built where the wires all separated. Like, I did that for some idiotic reason. Following instructions, I guess. But yeah, so like I want to keep these wires nice and tidy so that I'm able to route them properly. One of my passions is doing, as weird as this sounds, and it's weird because I'm a weird person, but one of my passions is doing cable management. And, like, I've spent a lot of time over this last couple months, like, really doing a nice job behind my desk of getting all my stuff wired up real nice. And so I want to have the same thing here for the Enterprise. I don't want any chance of like the cables fraying or breaking or anything like that. And so in order to do that, keeping these wires as nice and tidy as possible, but we only have the separation point where we need it. So I'm going to be making sure to focus on this for the model series going forward. So now we're going to put where they logically go. And I'm happier that I did that as opposed to the way they wanted me to do it. No offense, Fanhome, or I guess this is Eaglemoss, but I learned my lessons with those LED lights. I get what they're trying to do, and they're trying to make it so that it's easier to affix them in place and so they don't get all janked. But let me tell you, no. We are using tape. Until somebody tells me otherwise and gives me a logical reason, I am going to continue to use tape for it because it is working, and I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't. So, that's that. Getting faster at building this model as well. I know that there was a couple times when I was working with these whole plate sections and I'm trying to do this, man, it just was taking me forever. I was clumsy. But obviously doing these a few times now, I'm getting a little bit more confident in the process and how to do it and learning from each step of the way. As is with everything we're doing with this channel. So, all right, there's one reflector. There we go. I hadn't set the screw properly. There we go. Now we'll just quickly pop over here to the other side. So it goes the right way. Don't knock any of the windows out. That clicked in super satisfying. It didn't make any sound, but man, it was super satisfying. And then of course yeah. This has been great. I've had time to start doing more on the channel, and I'm super excited about it. I really am proud of some of the work that I've been doing, and you guys have been watching and commenting and getting subscribers, and really the whole idea behind this, like I said, is to be creative and share my passions with other people that happen to share the same passions. And the fact that people are sharing it and watching, and it's making all of the work worth it, because this is work. Like, I have a regular 45-hour a week job. Jesus. But I have a regular, job. And the thing is, though, is I get up super early. and hours before I got to be at work. And so instead of just sitting around watching TV or whatever, drinking my coffee and thinking about I got to go to work, um, I using the time. I edit really well in the morning, and so yeah, just figured out a schedule and I've laid out a plan for how to record all of these things. So yeah, and without I just did that and without any issues. And look at that, it's beautiful. Look at it. It's gorgeous. I am super pleased with how that turned out. The All of the lights are sitting in there properly. They're actually sitting. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but they stick out just a little bit. And once again, it's texture. I'm using the wrong word. Surface texture or just product detail. I don't know. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it just something about that looks so good. And the little bonus treat is we're going to go ahead and light this up and give her a test to see how it looks before we leave the Enterprise for the month. I think next week for this spot, I want to show everything that we have had built. And let's go ahead and light up one side. Very nice. Oh, don't bend that. There we go. You always get another one of these. But I do have a lot of things I want to show, like the progress, everything that we've built so far. Kind of show where it all sits in relation to each other. And show you some of the magazine stuff. So it's likely we're going to have a week gap. I was trying to extend out, like I said, I was trying to get more content out of this package, but we're good. So on that note, my friends, our hull panel section is lit up. I'm going to bend our pieces down, which I'm assuming we're going to have to do at some point. I'm going to only slightly, just in case we don't. But with that, my friends, we have finished stage 18. We have completed package number 5. We're looking forward to next month, which will be 2024. Wow. Crazy. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world, wherever you happen to might be. And until we see each other again, peace and long life.